All right, can everybody hear me? So I think we're good to go here. Just double checking the levels and everything, and then we'll start to see if everything's working here, and then we will talk about what we didn't do today. Sometimes the microphone doesn't exactly work out. I think we're good to go though. And of course, it's noisy, but I think we're good. Is that right? Okay. So just double checking. Okay, awesome. Just got the confirmation that everything's good. All right, so today we're going to be working more on this Remember Lights Out game. And if you don't know, I put this up for pre-order on the App Store. So you can go and you can take a look at this, Remember Lights Out. The link should be in the description to go pre-order this. If you're watching this from the future, then chances are this will be released, but we're basically making more levels to this game here, so it's on pre-order. One thing that Apple has done in the last little while is they actually added a pre-order section, and I highly recommend that whatever you're doing with your game is to just pre-order it, because there will be people that buy the pre-order that might not actually buy a game. Only caveat to that is that when you do pre-order something, and make sure you deliver everything you can, because you do not want to swindle people out or make promises you can't deliver. Okay, so if you haven't already, you can check out Escape Code. Those are on the App Store here, and I'm very impressed with this game and the way it's going. There's some bigger news with Escape Code coming out in the next 6 weeks, so get in on it while you can. So pretty big news here. I'm happy about that. And the other thing is you can take a look at Pluvo, which is one of those other minimalist games in terms of Lights Out here. There's a few things that I did do off screen, which I will talk about. But before we even do that, just letting you know, we have a really awesome Kickstarter here. Kickstarter, you get to make a battle royale. Glauco Perez, our Unity specialist, is making this. And we chose Unity because Unity is really easy to use. In fact, it's a lot more easy to use than Unreal. And not that necessarily one engine is better than the others. There's more or less different positives and negatives when it comes to Unreal and Unity. But for the most part, we chose Unity because it's so easy to use. In fact, it's been about 10 years since I bought my first game engine, which wasn't Unity, which is actually kind of a funny story, but it wasn't Unity, although in retrospect I should have bought Unity 10 years ago. But there's been a lot of really fascinating developments in game and how to make a game, and we're going to be using Construct 3 in a moment here, and you'll just see how easy it is to use to make a game. So anyway, there's a lot of cool stuff, and this is probably one of our best projects, if not the best project we've ever done in games. So I highly recommend getting in on it early, because the prices will go up. The prices will definitely go up after this is released. Okay, so if you haven't, please support us on Patreon. $1 might not seem a lot to you, but if we get a lot of them, we can really start to make a difference here at Mammoth Interactive. A lot of really cool stuff that I have planned, but since we're bootstrapped, we always take every dollar and spend it as wisely as we can. Unlike some of those other startups who get millions of dollars of funding and blow it all away, we're a lot more efficient than that. So we really do appreciate any business you've ever given us in the past. But Patreon is the best way. If we can get up to Kyrgyzstan levels of patronage, then I can really start doing all the things I really want to do with this company. So yeah. So other than the Kickstarter, we're working on a bunch of cool courses. We're always working on cool courses. We're always producing more courses. We're producing more games here too. There's a lot of cool stuff happening, which we'll talk about when it's either on pre-order or release. We'll at least talk about a project once it's on pre-order, right? Just one caveat before we actually start here. Remember that these are live streams and they are not really polished. It's all ad lib, all improvised pretty much. Our courses are much more they're much more polished than these live streams here. And on that note, if you run a day camp and want me to go and do a masterclass, you can email me at johnbura@mammothinteractive.com. That's something I do with Construct 3. We can use the free version, so there's no setup really for your class. It's just basically open up a Chrome and we can make a game together. And I do offer that service. We Skype in. You just need a projector and some willing students. And if you want me to do that for your class, please let me know, johnbura@mammothinteractive.com. Okay. So the only thing that I changed a couple things, but the major one is the title screen. I'm really happy about this. So let me just run this here, and yeah. So the whole point of a title screen really is to show what kind of happens. And you know, if I run that again, right? Like if I run it again, you'll see that it goes light and it shows you the mechanic of the game, right? And I also, you know, it's so simple, and because it's a minimalist game, people might think, you know, well, that's kind of silly, or you know, it's super easy to do. But remember, it's in some ways harder to do more minimalist games because you have to get everything right. Okay, so in this case, I'm very, very impressed that I can make such a lamppost look so good, and you can see that the flickering is there too. And then we can go and play it here. I also added in some soundtrack. One of the things that with minimalist games is you always want to do less is more. So I'm just going to play the game so you can while I talk here. But with minimalist games, less is more, and sometimes you don't actually have to add in things. Like for example, the sound of this is an ambient sound, which I think is pretty awesome. I thought, you know, I could add in some cool music, maybe some pad synthesizers, and that would work. But it could definitely work. But you know, just ambient sounds are pretty awesome in my opinion. Okay, so and you know, this level here, I'm gonna definitely make it the last level. It's so difficult because you have to remember everything. Maybe it won't make it the last level, but it'll definitely be up there. So there's a lot of really cool things that happen. But anyway, when it comes to minimalist music and basically ambient sounds, it does feel the spectrum, and it does so in such a less is more way, or a minimalist way. There's other things that I do plan to do with this, and by the way, we did work on this 2 weeks ago. Next week there is a new game. I do prototype a lot of these games in my spare time. The next 2 games I have ready to prototype and to go live, but they're not quite there yet. Well, they're pretty much ready to go. Just have to do a couple bit more testing, but they're interesting. And you know, the whole point of this minimalist graphic kind of thing here is that the whole point is that we work on some kind of mechanic that is interesting to play. Okay, they're kind of like studies or sketches. The closest example would be like a study in music. So if you ever played a musical instrument, then you've probably noticed the fact that there's studies and like they'll work on some kind of dexterity thing or some kind of key signature or whatever, and that's kind of the idea I want to have with this anyway. But nevertheless, let's go and let's start level designing here. Okay, so go ahead and two things you didn't really work on was the buff shield and then the breaking blocks. Okay, so we can add both of those in here. So let's do that. Okay, so let's design a level first. And then we'll go on from there. So tile layer, let's design the level. And you know what? Let's do this so we can kind of jump. And I think we can make that. If not, we can just give the buff jump here. Yeah, see, this is probably a good idea. Yeah, okay. So add in the buff jump, and we'll put that on the. Which one do we put it on, actually? We put it on the GUI layer. Yeah. So I'm going to undo that. So this needs to go on the GUI layer. And we'll put this here. The text we don't really need unless we're actually putting something in there. But for the most part, that's what we're going to do here. Okay. So where are these orbs here? Now, actually, there's a game that I'm developing kind of off screen, which I will talk about very soon because I'm really excited about it. I always say that, but it's true. I mean, you know, running a business is hard, but when it works out, it's the best thing ever. Okay, so one thing I am going to do here is I'm going to basically add in less orbs. Okay, and we're going to make this really easy. So by really easy, I'm going to mean the buff shield. I'm just going to kind of drop in there and make sure it's on the GUI layer as well. And I'm going to do that so that you can, for the most part, avoid the invincible Goombas. So the shield will let you destroy the Goombas, the invincible Goombas. And where is that? So we'll put a lot in there. Okay, so that's exactly what we'll do. We'll actually put in a lot so that you get the idea on how it works. Okay, so if I remember correctly, just like that. There we go. And there's a couple things you got to do first. So as you can see, we can't quite get back up there, but the invincible Goombas will. Oh, there we go. Well, that's interesting. So looks like there's a bit of a bug there, but by bug means bug in my code, not bug in Construct 3's code. So we get the buff shield, and what this will allow us to do is will allow us to just basically plow through all these Goombas. It's really kind of like a star there, but yeah. Something is up with this. And then that gets destroyed. Huh. Let's try that again. So if not, I'll have to figure this out off screen because watching these bugs is not important. But we essentially, this is a level where, you know, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so there's something in the background there. I might have probably duplicated something. Yeah. So what is in there? Or it could be that the Goombas are there. So let's take a look at that actually. Let's debug this, and you know, this is what game development is. You end up with lots of problems. So let's kind of just get the buff shield. And there we go. And something, what is there? So the reason why I'm in a debug layout now is that there is the cloud, and it will tell you what's in there. So we got the door, we got orbs, And then we have particles light. No, that's not what we're looking for. That's also not what we're looking for. Text objects. There's a lot of stuff in the background too. Particles light. Not sure what that's all about. What if I delete this? Delete this. I'm just gonna do some testing here. Yeah. So it's something that has to do with this. These all have to be on the tile layer, if I'm not mistaken. GUI. These are all in the GUI layer for some reason. So, okay, well, I'm gonna go put these all back on the GUI layer. So, where is 26? Aha. This is why I added multiple templates, right? So there we go, and let's go back to 26 here. Okay, so if I put these back on the GUI layer, will that fix the problem or not? Let's test it. And of course, what we have to do is, so there's some restarting issues, and it probably has to do with the orb count. So that, there we go. Yeah, that's what it was. So I'm going to put these all in the GUI layer. And can I just select the orb? If I just go orb, does it select them all? Perfect. Layer, we'll put those on the GUI layer. Okay, and let's just fix this problem here of whatever the orb count is. And orb count. And I'm pretty sure I fixed this. Maybe, okay. We'll do some more testing. You know what probably happened? I think I know what the problem is. Yes, okay. That's perfect, okay. Let's go to that invincible Goomba logic. Aha. So, let's do on destroyed. There's a, on created, there is the light. So on destroyed, we'll say light destroy. Right? Actually, you know what we need to do first? I believe, and then let's just go to the Goomba logic first here. And no, it's not the Goomba logic, but the orb logic. And on destroyed, yes, that's right. We have to do this pick. All right, so I'm just gonna copy and paste this here. Copy and paste this so I can copy this here. So it's best that we fix this right now. On destroyed, and I'll make this a subcondition. And we want to pick the light, and it will equal light.x, and the value is equal to invincible Goomba.x. Likewise here, we want this to make a light as well. Okay. So basically that's, this is light and equal to invincible Goomba.y. Okay. And of course we want to light destroy. So what's happening here is I'm basically spawning a light on the Goomba, but when the Goomba got destroyed, light also didn't get destroyed here. Okay, so there we go. So that is a good intro level here. So let's duplicate this and let's continue to make some levels here. So it's 27 here, and for the most part, let's see. So we have the invincible Goomba here. What we want to do is basically add in some more of this logic here. So let's see, what can we do? Well, let's go to our tile layer here, and if we have what really worked last time was this idea of the pen. So we do that. I think that will work out for now. Let's just double check that. I can make all those jumps. So let's start the player in here, and we'll just push space to test here. Yeah, so we can't quite get out there. So let's change that to this. Yeah, perfect. And then we're obviously not going to be able to get up there either, so let's do that. Yeah. So, perfect. All right. Yeah, that works. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put all invincible Goombas in here. So, restart. Yeah, so we can't get up there. Let's kind of add in alright, can I get to that? Probably. Let's add another pen here. And perhaps we'll make this one have a lot, or not a lot of, and we have to be able to get to that somehow, so let's do that. I think that's probably good. Maybe one more. We'll put the door up there. So we have to climb back up. So let's see if we can just get to everywhere we want to go. And then we'll add in some orbs. And maybe for this one here, we will, yeah, okay, there we go. Maybe we'll add in, yeah, okay. So we can get everywhere, and I don't think we can get back up there. Yeah. So let's do that one more time. Perfect. Let's add in, what are we going to add in here? Not the particles orb. We want to just add the regular orb. Yeah, let's be sparse with our light. I think that's probably a good idea. Just kind of like one per little area. Yeah. Because, we're getting further into the game, in theory you're supposed to kind of see where everything is. And alright, so it looks like we can't get up there. This is why we test things. This is why we test things here. So Let's go to the tile map. Perfect. Okay, I think that's probably good. Let's go to the death logic here. And I'm going to just disable that. Just because, yeah, it makes a little more sense to disable that. Okay, let's add in a invincible Goomba. Invincible Goomba, and we'll add in a lot of them actually. One per each side. And we'll probably have to put the buff jump or the buff shield over here. Yeah, and that's another thing we needed to do. We needed to change the black color of this. Yeah. Okay, and no Goomba here. No Goomba there. So that should probably be enough to make it work. Right. Right. So we have everything here, and it looks like that pick logic didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. So we'll have to yes. Well, I think it did work. We just forgot some extra code in there. So let's double that. Yeah, okay, there we go. Perfect. Now that in theory should work. Yep. And okay, perhaps it didn't work. But nevertheless, I'll have to probably figure it out. And the door isn't quite yeah, this looks like more debugging will have to be done on this later, so we'll focus on the level design first, and we'll want to make sure that this is not there. So let's just do a quick debug here. So there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 orbs. Okay, so there is 8 orbs. So I wonder what the dealio is as to why it didn't work. Okay. Yeah. Because then this becomes a pretty easy level. Again. Okay. And the orb count is 0. Door reveal didn't work. Maybe it's something I have to do with the death being different, but anyway, let's move on. Obviously, before this gets released, it goes through a QA process. It makes everything work a little bit better. So let's make this a little bit more challenging. What we could do is move the text up there. We could do this. Actually, no, that would be perfect. And let's go and design a neat level. We'll make it a winding level. So, like that. Okay. Thinking that's probably the best way to do it. Okay, so we got most of it here. Okay, I think I know what I want to do. So we basically make a little pen for the Goomba to go in, which is not a bad idea. Something like this, and we still have enough room to get out. I think. Yeah, okay, that should work. And if I'm not mistaken, let's put in the invincible Goombas. One here. Maybe that top one might be a bit too much. I'm going to save this. Because for some reason now the controls are weird. Something is definitely up with this. But before I do that, I'm going to have to make sure that my power's plugged in. All right. Man, what is up with that? A lot more glitches than I would expect. You know what it is? Because it's too narrow. It's not necessarily a glitch there, but we can probably get away with that. I think that will fix it. There we go. Okay, so we know that that works. And yeah, adding in two, well, you know, the two Goombas, you know, can we in theory get away here? I think we can just get away with it. What we'll do for sure is double click on this and we will take this down just ever so slightly. That'll work. And of course, we're going to add in the buff shield all the way at the bottom here. And what we'll do here is we'll make sure it's on the GUI. Perfect. And yeah, I think we just add in one flame here. That should be good. Because, again, light is supposed to be a resource with this here. And with the resource, you know, there's enough of this moving Goomba that, you know, can we get back up? Okay, we just got to double check that here. Yes, we can. That you should be able to remember it. Now, it's pretty difficult. Because once you start destroying these, you know, it's not that difficult. You should be able to do that. Yeah, so the lights aren't quite destroyed. So we'll have to deal with that. Probably some stuff off time here, but for the most part we'll just be doing some level design here. So that was 28. This will be 29. Okay. So let's make something a little bit ridiculous here. So let's jump up there. Get the flame in there. And then get the door over here. Yeah, okay, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. So buff jump, put up in here. And what we'll also do is we will also add in some spikes. Just like that. And we just gotta make sure we can make that. Okay. Can we make that? You can. Oh, so barely. Restart that. So oh, we can do it. So this one might be a difficult one, but nevertheless. Okay, so can we get there? Yes. And then, let's see. We can get back up there. Okay, yeah, I know we're gonna have to lower that one here. So let's do that. Let's put the door up here. Let's put the invincible Goomba here. Let's have it guard an orb down here, and then an orb up here. And that should be it. Kind of like that idea. Yeah. Because immediately, I mean, this one's probably going to be a more frustrating one, because you're really going to have to remember it. Right? And you get that. Yeah, something's up with the door not being revealed. Is it because... No, it is hidden. It's a good question. I'm not sure what's up with that. Nevertheless, I'm going to save it here. But this is a hard level. But it's fair because, again, it's not like you're not giving the player information. Right? Like, you see that there is a ledge up here. And you can probably tell that the door is going to be up there. You just know it's going to be up there, right? And so I can do it. Yeah, okay, now it works. What? Yeah, so sometimes in game development, you know, things will just stop working. And, you know, this is actually one of the biggest problems with the courses we do, actually. Believe it or not. You know, there's been so many times where there's been some silly little bug, or just something that hasn't worked properly, whether it's human error or an actual bug. And yeah, it just doesn't work, and it's frustrating, but that's development for you. All right, so let's go ahead, let's duplicate that here. We'll continue to add some more levels here, and eventually we'll get to the break blocks. I'm not sure exactly how I want to do that yet, whether I want the blocks to have light or not. So let's, I'm going to deal with that in a moment here, but I'm not sure why I'm redoing this one here. But let's open up 30. So, what can we do that's kind of fun? The jump is probably the best one here, in my opinion. All right. So, what can we do? Well, we don't need that for the moment. Okay. I like it. I like where this is going. And if you don't know, the skills that I'm kind of using here are something called divergent thinking skills. And in most school systems, they're not really something that's praised. Doesn't matter though, because in the real world, they definitely are. So, okay, that doesn't make any sense. Let's put that door down here. Okay. So you can see where I'm going with this level here. So divergent thinking is essentially brainstorming skills. And okay, I think that could probably work. Let's double check this. Okay, so hey, sweet, did it first try. Let's see if I can get to this here. Now the other thing I'm not doing is I'm not putting in the death logic here. All right, yes, I think that's pretty good. Whew, what should we do? So this poses an interesting challenge, because here's what I'm going to do. It would be very hard, if not impossible, to have no light with this, and that would just be too frustrating, I think. You know, like I said, this game works with memory, and memory is not something modern humans do well. I mean, frankly, it's because of our, you know, technology addiction. It makes sense, right? You know, everything you could possibly want is, you know, available to you. So why memorize anything? Anyway, so it would be too hard to not do that. So if you just take a couple steps back, again, the cool thing about this game is that all the information is given to the player immediately. So if I was a player and I was trying to do this strategically, because after all, this is a puzzle platformer, which is probably one of my favorite genres of games. I guess that's why I make them so much. But anyway, so if you go, you know, left up here, you collect everything, you go down, and then I guess if you really wanted to, and you were dexterous enough, you could, let's see, can I even do that? See, instantly it's too hard. So this one's a trickier level, and that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, okay. So you'd have to do that. And then you'd go back up and finish the level, which, you know, you're probably assuming it's on the top. But if we were to make this just like a little bit harder, okay, a little bit harder, we would just erase one of these. That's all we would do. So you'd have to come at it through the left side. Okay, and which would increase the error, because some people, you know, well, just like if you're right-handed or left-handed, will work with the controllers differently whether you're right-handed or left-handed. You know, yeah, okay, so I kind of like that. And wait, can you just do this? You can. Well, okay, it's not so bad. That's not a bad idea. So it's a good thing we can just do that then. So I guess the puzzle, yeah, again, it still forces you to go to the left side. Yeah, okay, perfect. Love it. Okay. Yeah. That works. Okay, so just double checking here. Cool. 31. Yeah. So again, I'm going to have to play through this game and test it off screen. Sometimes, you know, one of the reasons, you know, I always get asked, why... you know, why would you do that testing off the screen? Well, it could take me 45 minutes to figure out a variable's misplaced, so that's not fun to listen to or watch. So don't. So it's, you know, I'm trying to make this as entertaining as possible here. So get that out of the way. What can we do? So this is 31. Let's see if we can do one more level before we introduce the breaking block concept here. So if we have this, let's see, let's work vertically. You know, a lot of times, if you're not a creative person, it's okay. But a lot of times things work if you just say, hey, what if we do this, and see what happens. So yeah, I kind of like this idea of pits. Let's try that. I mean, we did actually do this earlier on. Ah, I know exactly what we're going to do. Yes, I know exactly what this is going to be. Perfect. So, floating pillars is what this is going to be. And we'll have a nice return of the regular Goomba. Put that guy over here. And let me just double check. We can't quite get up there. So, let's see. Have to rethink this for a moment. Okay. Now, it's standard game design practice to to make the player out of danger. And it's not a bad idea, but it doesn't always have to be like that. Remember, for each time there is, for each time that there's a beginner, I'm going to do this. Just make it one step easier. And I'm going to save it. Okay. So if you make something, the player can be in danger right when the level starts. There's no rule against that. It's just that if you do that your first level, it's not a good idea. Okay. Yeah, we can make the door up there. Okay, orb time. So the smart thing to do here, there's a couple things that I noticed when I was playing through this level. So the smart thing to do would be to add in the orbs on the bottom here. Like, that's the smart thing to do. So that you have to time everything correctly. Let's make this a little bit easier for the player by adding in a little bit more space to jump here. And let's also make this a little bit harder for the player so that you kind of have to make that jump all in one go. If we're really evil, we could probably add in some spikes in the bottom. Not a bad idea, but nevertheless, all right. And then we just kind of drop here, and then we would. So you kind of drop down, and then the idea is that you'd wait for the Goomba to come here, and then you would jump either over or on it. Okay, perfect. So yeah, so at least this level works, and then the door's working again. Yeah, I don't know why that is. Again, I'll have to figure out what's up with that. But nevertheless, try and make it work. So 31. So people who are really good at that divergent thinking could take just the mechanics of this and make every level amazing without even any of these buffs there. So that's something. Basically, it's brainstorming, and we talk a lot about this at Mammoth HQ. How it's kind of like the missing link between like a computer science or computer engineering degree. But anyway, I think we've waited long enough to do the breakable blocks here. So let's do this. We're just going to make this easy level. We'll add in some danger because it's a later level, but I think I know what I want to do with these. Question is, should we add light to them or not? Well, there's one thing for sure. We do have to change the color of these, so I'm going to do that first. I'm just going to double click, make sure it's a black, and fill everything as much as we possibly can. It's because I think there was an early version of Pluvo, if not Pluvo, had the off black. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's add a Goomba here. And maybe let's make this level just a bit, well, should we make it a level where it's kind of like an errand? Yeah, let's do that. Because we're going to jump up on there, and then we're going to jump up to get some orbs here. Kind of like, it's not necessarily meaningless, but it shows you that you can jump onto the breakable blocks, which is what we're looking to do. Okay, so, and what actually makes the most sense is to put some orbs up here, like that. And obviously, we would want to break the blocks up here. And we'll also double click this to make sure that we are all black there. A lot of changes, so you can't really miss out on any kind of, you can't really miss out on, I lost my train of thought there. Trying to do too many things at once here. Nevertheless, jump up, okay, and then it does pose a bit of a problem. Okay. Well, the easiest way to fix that is to add some orbs here. Okay, so I'm getting some ideas on automatically. So if we're gonna make the breakable block jumpable, well, let's put the door right over here. Okay, so I was thinking we can maybe put up the door up top here, but in a future level we can make it so that you have to plan out getting your we'll put the breakable block buff right next to the player as they start, and the point of the level would be you have to avoid it. Okay, which I think is a really cool mechanic, by the way. Right, so yeah, and by the way, there is a sound that plays. You know, I don't think this actually does record the sound. Maybe it does record the sound, maybe it doesn't. But nevertheless, straight there. And if we really want, you know, if we really want to be just a little bit on the silly side, you can put a little block there. Yeah, we'll put 2 blocks there. That way, the player will have to jump over it. So it's just, again, using like a little bit of extra items here. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So, you know, it's like, okay, big deal. It's a little bump. You just jump over it. And it's not a big deal until you lose your light, right? So the dynamic of this mechanic is pretty awesome. Okay, so like, you're like, wait a minute. Now the door doesn't work again. Huh, that is weird. I'm not sure why. I have no idea why. It probably has to do something with, yeah, I'll have to, it's probably just some simple line of code. Yeah, there it is again. Oh well. We'll test it, make sure it works here. So anyway, the whole point of this game is to remember, so I'm adding that in there. And I'm getting a hello here on my chat. So hello there, Andrea. I'm not sure how old that is. I've been looking at the game. Nevertheless, yeah, okay, let's duplicate this, 33. All right, so what are we going to do here? So, breakable blocks. Okay, let's do that level that I was just talking about. So, we will add in the break block here. And I think when I was making the game, I lost my train of thought. Just because you have a buff doesn't mean you have to get it, right? I mean, that, you know, it's kind of like the best game design is where you flip something around, and, you know, obviously game design is something about, you know, like the bigger metaphors of you're getting better, you're more improving, and that's where like a lot of gamification happens. By the way, gamification of technology and education. So it's like you're obviously getting better, but you don't have to get it. There's no rule that you have to get it. Kind of like it. So let's do this here. And then we will, I think we can do it this way. Then you'd have to fall down. Of course, we need to have some breakable blocks. And I will kind of do that in a second. Okay. I think we can actually just drag these breakable blocks right up on top of them, but now we can't see it, so I guess we'll have to erase this. Doesn't matter though, we can always add that in here. The only difference between the breakable blocks is that you have to kind of copy and paste each one of them. Normally this wouldn't be a good thing to do because adding more sprites in there will create more lag, but there's a couple things to that. the larger the sprites, the bigger of a problem it's going to be. And so the larger the sprites, the bigger the problem it's going to be. And let's see, can we jump over that? We can. Perfect. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And can we get up there? We can. Awesome. That's weird. Must have pushed Alt or something. Better. Yeah, so that works. Let's add a Goomba here, here, and here. So they're not at an immediate danger. But at the same time, yeah, so we're not in an immediate danger, but, and we'll just kind of put one each. It will be a problem later on in the level. So that's not a bad thing to do either. Maybe one to light up the way. Yeah, that's probably good. So you can actually balance the difficulty with this quite easily. Okay. The reason why you can is you can figure out how much light you want to give. So the cool thing about this is that if I get this right away, it's impossible for me to get the level, right? You'll have to restart it, right? So you have to jump over that. And to a lot of players, they're not going to quite get that right away. So there we go. Let's see. Yeah, I can get that. Boom. And then the door is working again. Okay. In fact, what I really like about this is that you don't have to get it at all. A little confusing. What would be better? So the question is, you know, I think there should be a level where you don't get any of it will be impossible for you to get any of the buffs, which I think is a neat idea. Because you don't have to get them. But it's going to be confusing. And one of the things with, I think Extra Credits did an episode about this. It's called game literacy. You know, just like if you were to read Shakespeare without learning it, well, I might get some flack from the English teachers here, but okay, now the door stopped working again. Yeah, so funny. That's just game development for you. It was working like literally when I uploaded it. So maybe this is an older version that I accidentally opened, but nevertheless, I'll have to go fix that. So when we're talking about game literacy, right? It's just like if you were to not take Shakespeare in a class, it would be more difficult to learn it. And there are things that Shakespeare does that you wouldn't just get by yourself. And you know, someone who isn't really versed in it might say they dislike it or they hate it. Well, the same thing happens in games, right? Like, you know, some people might find it frustrating that, you know, you don't have to get that buff until the end. And I think that's a pretty cool mechanic, but some people might not get that and they might not like it. So game literacy, just like real literacy, it's do you understand game mechanics or not? And it took me a long time, even though I've been playing games for many, many, many years. So everyone really has enough to learn from it. So okay, so let's take a look. You know what? I think we'll run with that idea of breakable blocks. I like that. I actually really do like that. It's a neat idea. And that's really what the series is about. Not just the live streams, but this kind of minimalist series. It's about neat ideas, and we're exploring those ideas. I was talking to a friend this week, and you know what? Let's make this the level where you don't have to get it at all. Because then it will teach the player that you don't have to get the buffs. I mean, that's probably the best way to go about it. Just thinking off the top of my head. And remember, I am doing this ad lib, meaning that, you know, it's whatever's, you know, comes into my head, I pretty much say. So, we polish things quite a bit at Mammoth. There we go. That's perfect. Definitely perfect. Okay. Let's just close that up. See if we can get there. You know what? It is possible in Construct 3 to add in the braid mechanic. And if you don't know what it is, it's like rewinding time. You know, for debugging purposes, it's extremely useful. Okay. So let's drop this guy down a bit. Just drop it one. And I think yeah, okay. So we're just gonna drop this down as one. Okay. I think we should be able to get to everywhere we need to go. Yeah. Playing your own game is apparently the hardest. So okay, we have to drop that one down too. But the rest should be good to go. Yeah, we just basically need to drop that down here. And I believe we can get to that door via that one block. So I'm going to do something really interesting with this, with the light. I'm going to talk about it. Okay, so we can do that. So perfect. Okay. Ooh, this is the one where we don't actually want the buff block at all. So let's put it there. See if we can jump over it right away. We can. Perfect. Yeah, see, so as soon as you get it, you have to restart. Okay, perfect. So again, light's a resource in this game, but what's cool about it is that up until now, I've been putting everything right above the block or next to it. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to put it kind of in between, but you have to make sure that it's jumpable. So in between, like this. And that way, you know, you're still giving the player information, but it just doesn't feel as good. Okay, so it just doesn't feel as good as, you know, let's say having everything super lit. So let's take a look at this. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so it's still pretty lit. Okay, perfect. And you know what I'm actually going to do? I'm going to make this a double. And I'm also going to make this on a double. That way, you kind of have like these checkpoints, so it's easier to do. So let's, there we go, perfect. Yeah, so I don't think that's, yeah, so you got to jump over it. It's kind of an interesting, I kind of like that mechanic. I like that, or that idea. It's not really a mechanic, but okay, perfect. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, 35. Okay, so let's make this the one where you would have to avoid everything. But how do I do that? Or maybe should I even do that? Because, you know, it's kind of hard to avoid the other two are just, you know, yeah, I don't think we can actually do that. Because they're too advantageous, the other two. Like, why would you need to avoid the buff shield or the buff jump? It's an interesting idea, but, you know, sometimes things don't pan out the way you want them to. All right. So, okay, that's working out. Well, okay. Let's see. 35. Okay, I got it. No. Let's start the player off. That. Add in that launcher, because we haven't used one of those in a while. Okay, launcher, where's that? Put that here, here, and we will actually make this incredibly hard. So the idea is that you come out of everything, but I think you can just jump over that. So let's fix that. So in Pluvo I did a level like this, and it worked out really well. It's like you have to kind of drop into where you wanted it to go. So let's see if this will work. Yeah, almost. Almost. Can we make this work? Just had an idea. It's a neat idea. You got to do this twice. Yes, I like it. Because you can't get them both in one. So you can make it over. So you jump up one and then you jump up over the other. Then you got to go back. Then you got to go back. And then you got to go boom. Yes. Like it. It's a good one. Definitely is a good one. All right, there we go, another one. Okay, let's duplicate that. And we'll go to 36 here. And, let's see. Kind of like that falling idea. Okay, I got it. At this point, you know, we can start off the level. One of the things about game design is that as the level gets, you know, let's see, can I even do that? Might not be able to do what I want. Okay, so I think we, okay, so we can do it. Perfect. That's exactly what we want to do. So one of the things about, you restrict yourself in the early part of your game to, you restrict yourself in the early part of the game, and that kind of restricts your creativity. But later, you have more options, so you can, in theory, be more creative. So let's make this an absolute, yeah, I like it like that. Perfect. And then we will 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we come back down. 3, 4, 5. Yeah. see if I can do this. Yeah, so I can't get to that one. So I might as well do this. Yeah, let's see if that works. So at this point, I'm just testing to see what level's possible. And all right. By the way, if there's any questions anyone has that, or whether what they want in a live stream, please let me know just in the comments. We do read the comments, so please let us know for sure. Okay. So I think I can get to this. I'm just being silly. Yeah, so you can get to that. Okay. Yep. Perfect. Question is can I get from here to there? And I think I can. Let's just move this guy over. Okay. All right, perfect. Everything works out. I don't think I've saved it in a while. Or maybe I have. I'm just antsy about that. Okay. So remember lights out. Perfect. And let's add some more orbs. What I'll do is might as well add in some of these here. That one. Perfect. Yeah, I think that should be good. All right, amazing. That works for me. All right, so I'll duplicate that. 37 here. Let's see. The levels where you kind of thread the needle, they're not necessarily inherently bad, but they can be frustrating. Let's add a buff jump here. Let's see if I can make that. Maybe make a level where we thread the needle. Yeah, okay, that works. Let's do that. Let's add in. I think we can make this work. Let's try that. Might not be able to get to that second one. Yeah, I don't think so. Okay, let's do a couple of things here. Erase that. Add in that. So make it pretty precise. But that's kind of the charm of these puzzle platformers is, depending on who you play, sometimes a level will get just really hard before you have to go to the next one. Yeah. Can this even be done? It cannot. Put that there. Let's restart this. Boom. Restart this. Alright, I like it. Okay, so we can get there. Can we? Yeah, I think we'll just have to put this down one. I think we're good after that. Yeah, okay. Oh man, that would be really difficult. I think I will do that. So what makes this level hard is you have to remember where those two are. Yeah, I like that a lot. So that one just gives you just the right amount of information. If we didn't put that there, it would be very much harder, you'll see, because you don't know where things are. But with that information, you can kind of like figure it out. So not bad, not bad. I like it. Next. I think I'll probably just go to 40 for this level, or for this live stream here. Let's see. One of the things that's really hard about these live streams or tutorials in general is your voice. So if you're a teacher, you run your voice all day. So that transfers over to the course world too. Going back to bugs, we're talking about that earlier. Anyway, there have been so many bugs, especially because a lot of times we put out an iOS course and we use the Xcode beta for it. And the beta would of course have lots of bugs in it. I remember one of the bugs was if I wanted to select a bunch of labels, if I wanted to select a bunch of labels, then it would crash the program, or Xcode would crash if I changed the color. And, it's like, oh, okay. And just little things like that will make course development really hard. So, oh boy. Maybe I should have one where there's just a door. And maybe this is the level that's it. Oh, actually, I have a better idea. So, I mean, the other thing is you don't technically have to have the orbs either, right? Okay. So what this does is it distracts you to get the orb. And then you have to memorize. So this is going to be one that you have to remember. And this takes that concept of last time to a whole new level, right? And what makes this hard is that you have to get that first before you get that second one. Let me see if this jump is actually possible, and I think it is. Yeah, but is the second jump possible? So the first jump is really easy, in fact. It's just going up. This jump's not so, so close yet so far. Let's change that. But let me know if anyone wants more courses on how to make courses. It's something that a lot of people do. I definitely have the experience to do it, so just haven't really found that good of a market for it. Most people just want the tech courses that Mammoth produces. All right, so let's see if this is actually possible. 1 and 2. There we go. Okay, so it is possible. Perfect. I like that. So you can see, you can kind of go back and rewatch the live stream and see how thought process goes. You try something and serendipitously something else comes up. Of course, if you work with other people, that can compound in good ways and bad ways. So, all right. The other thing that you can do is you can always take a level that you've done before and modify it in a specific way that's just a little different. This one's kind of interesting. It seems like it's too, yeah. All right, so 2 more levels. I'm probably going to rearrange some of these levels here. Okay, I got an idea. That's not a bad idea. First of all, let's make everything spikes. And where is that launcher? Like it? So this is another one where you have to get it right. And you know what I'm going to do? Is that too easy? Might be too easy. Yeah, I'm going to make it 1 step harder. Just move that over. See if I can do it. Okay, yeah, that'll work. Okay, perfect. And there's going to be no orbs in that one. It's hard because you have to move again using that kind of idea. So, well, this pretty much brings it to the last level. Here, we'll go to 40. And, well, this obviously won't be the last level of the game. I'm going to reorganize some of these. But, yeah, we're coming up to about 90 minutes here, so I find that to be a natural number. 90 minutes to 120 minutes. Anything more than that's a little bit tricky. So let's have it. We move up here. Well, it's Goomba time. Okay, I got an idea. Oh, that's tricky. It's tricky, but it works. Okay, so Goomba, 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 Goomba. Invincible Goomba in the middle. And the only light source is the invincible one. Yeah, I like it. Plenty of opportunities along the way. But let's add in some obstacles. Because without this, yeah, I like that. Okay, perfect. So we got that, and you basically got to move down here. And you just got to, I mean, it's not like it's impossible to do. Okay, that's it. All right, cool. All right, let me save this. Save it here. Perfect. All right. So that pretty much concludes the live stream. Thank you so much for attending. Please pre-order this. I'm going to fix some of the bugs like the door just randomly not working. Not sure why that's happening, but that's game development for you. But you can pre-order this. Link should be in the description. Remember, lights out. You can also buy Escape Code, Pluvo. Also the Kickstarter as well. Please pledge for that. In addition, please pledge for Patreon. Patreon is super important for all of us here. All right, so that's coming up to 90 minutes here. Thank you again so much for listening. And I hope to see you in another live stream. It usually should be on a Wednesday. So on Wednesday, it'll go live. All right, thanks for listening. And I'll see you in another live stream. Bye.